Whenever you run across one of those recipes that you make and your whole family loves, and all you can think of is, oh, this has got to be one of our reoccurring recipes on a monthly or weekly basis. Well, you know what? I have got 4 of those reoccurring recipes for you today. 4 of our favorites that we have made in the past 3 months that I'm sure you will love and your family will love too. Hey friends, I'm Susan and welcome to my home. And today I have got those 4 recipes for you. So quick, so simple. Some of them are just so darn good, you can't help it. Whenever it comes to a home cooked meal that your family absolutely enjoys and will tell people about because it was so good, you know you got something. And those are what I have for you today. So I'm going to get my ponytail up because we're going to be doing some cooking, and it is so good your family will rave whenever you make them. So come on, let's get to cooking. And we're going to make a $1 million casserole. Basically, it's a spaghetti casserole. I may add and tweak a few things, as you know I do, but this is what we're going to start out with. I've got some butter, cream cheese, sour cream, some cottage cheese, some spaghetti sauce, some spaghetti. I've got some sharp cheddar and a little mozzarella I'm going to put in there. And of course the star of the show, hamburger meat I've got to brown up. I may put some Italian seasoning in. I may do some garlic salt or something to rev it up a little bit, but we will see. So let me go ahead and get the hamburger browning and the spaghetti in the water, and then we'll come back and we will see what else we need to do. So let's go ahead and mix up the cheese mixture. Here's 8 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead. It has softened. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Here is 1/4 cup of sour cream and 8 ounces of cottage cheese. I'm going to put that in here. Mix that up. And right here. Hopefully there won't be too many lumps. I did microwave the cream cheese to get it warm because it says to bring it up to room temperature. And you know me, I didn't have time to put it out an hour before I was making it, so I went ahead and put it in the microwave and let that nuke it up a little bit. But it's pretty soft, and it seems like it's mixing up pretty good. And the hamburger meat has been browned, and I've drained it. I'm now going to add in 1 jar of traditional spaghetti sauce. Go ahead and get that mixed together. Get this thing layered. I did save a little bit of the spaghetti sauce in the bottom of the container to go in this, to go in the bottom. Kind of like I do with my lasagna. I put a little of the spaghetti sauce in the bottom. I'll go ahead and spread that out a little bit. That way the noodles won't stick. I'm going to go ahead and put in about half of the cooked spaghetti noodles. Now I'm going to put in the whole cream cheese mixture is going in. So it's not going to be layered up in multiple layers, just basically 1 layer, which is fine. Less you have to do. Actually makes it easier. Go ahead and try to spread this out as good as I can. That's looking pretty good. Next thing is I'm going to put the rest of the noodles on there. Just kind of layer them out as much as I can. This was about the perfect size dish. I was worried it wasn't going to be big enough, but yeah, it ain't as big as I thought it was going to be. Now I'm going to cut up the butter and put the pats of butter on top of the spaghetti. Normally in my lasagna about this time, I do sprinkle some garlic salt on it, just a little bit. Just through 1 layer, and I've got that done. And I'm going to go ahead and put the whole rest of the meat sauce, the whole part of the meat sauce, on the top. And spread it out real good. Look at that. Now it says to put this in the oven and cook it on 350 for 30 minutes. I don't think we're going to need that much time. I'm going to do it on 15. Bring it out and then we'll do the next layer. Now the recipe says to top the top of it with some cheddar cheese. I'm going to do a little mixture of cheddar and mozzarella because I'm not a big cheddar cheese with spaghetti kind of person. I'm a mozzarella. Want to make it kind of like lasagna kind of person. Because that's basically kind of what it is. I'm going to go ahead and put lots of mozz on here. I'm just going to spread it all around. Because it ain't going to take long. It says to put it in for about another 15 minutes. It's already been in for only 15. Because like I said, it said 30. Doesn't need it. I don't think so. There we go. So I'm going to put it in for another 15, uncovered, at 350. And I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And 15 minutes later, and here's what it looks like. Bubbly hot, which I'm going to let this cool off. And I'm going to make a salad. I could have had some garlic bread or something like that to go with it, but this is carb heavy enough. I'm not going to do garlic bread tonight. Just a salad. Try to be as good as I can because I know this is going to be good. So let me go ahead, let this cool down, and we'll get everything plated up. And I've got a nice helping of the $1 million spaghetti casserole. I'm going to go ahead and add some salad to the plate for Danny to munch on. And here you go. $1 million casserole and some Caesar salad. And it's what's for supper tonight. And let's get to making some chicken pot pie with phyllo dough. I've got some rotisserie chicken that I pulled. That's just the white meat. Some butter, celery. This is my chicken spice. Some onion powder, some thyme, garlic powder, which is all right in here. An egg, onion, cream of chicken soup, a can of mixed vegetables. This is some of my homemade chicken bone broth. And then some phyllo dough or puff pastry sheets. So I've got all this ready to go and a bowl to put it in. So let's get to getting stuff into the frying pan. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. So it's time to cook. And I have got the frying pan turned on. It's actually medium high. I'm going to go ahead and put some butter in. The celery is going in and the onions are going in. And I'm going to let these saute for just a little bit till they get a little bit fragrant. I forgot to put this in the lineup, but I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of flour. That way I can go ahead and thicken it up a little bit as it's cooking. Let me go ahead and stir this around. All right. And now we need to get going with the rest of the ingredients. Now this is already cooked down just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add the bone broth, which is going to make it taste so good. And I turned it down to about a medium because it was a little bit too hot. And now this is starting to boil a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add in the chicken. The chicken is refrigerator cold. It was frozen, but I defrosted it a little bit. So I'm adding that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and let this get warmed up in the nice good juices. Ooh, that thickened it up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add in the can of mixed vegetables. The spice mixture that I have. And let that mix around a little bit. I'm hoping this will be good and easy, because I'm all about easy recipes. Something quick, easy, simple, that's what I love. Right. And I'm going to go ahead and get the cream of chicken soup out to add to the mixture. And that's looking really good. Go ahead and get that mixed around. Now I'm going to put the lid on this and let this simmer for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then we should be ready to assemble our chicken pot pie. Oh, I just realized something. I don't have phyllo dough. I got puff pastries. We're going to roll with it though. You know, you can make a recipe out of whatever you have in your pantry. I pretty much had all of it. I didn't have to go get anything other than I got puff pastry instead of phyllo dough. Oh well. I'm going to go ahead and put the puff pastry on the bottom. And just let it droop over, because I'm going to put the top on it. And it will be what it will be. It will be a chicken pot pie of some sort, one way or the other. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the chicken mixture on top of the phyllo dough, or on top of the puff pastry, excuse me. Look how good that looks. That's already looking good. And that does smell amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna add a little bit of my chicken spice, and I will put it down below. Y'all know I love my chicken spice. But anything that I make with chicken on it, it goes in it. And now the next thing is the second thing of puff pastry is gonna go on top. Now you can make this as pretty as you want to, or you can make it as rustic as you want to. And since I wasn't thinking whenever I got this, it's gonna be rustic. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I'm gonna put this kind of this way on top and just let it drape over the sides. There we go. And I am going to give it a little bit of a whitewash with some egg and water. That way it'll look pretty when it comes out. All right, all of it is completely covered now. It's time to put this in the oven at 350. You got one thing saying 20 to 25 minutes, you got another one saying 30. I'm gonna check it out at 20 minutes and see what it looks like. It's probably gonna take about 30, I don't doubt, but we'll see what we get when I bring you back. I just got it out of the oven, and I hope it looks as good as it looks here on the screen. It is flaky and crusty, and it looks really good. I put it in for probably around 30 to 35 minutes to get it this browned, but it is looking amazing. Let's go ahead and get it plated up. And I dipped it out, and this is actually one of the corner pieces. Look at how fluffy that is. Oh, and it smells amazing, and it tastes divine. So yep, even though I messed up a little bit, it is so good. And it is chicken pie with puff pastry instead of phyllo dough. And it's what's for supper tonight. And let's get started on some Instant Pot ground beef goulash. I've got some hamburger meat, an onion, bell pepper. I've got salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I've got some elbow macaroni, a can of corn, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, some brown sugar, some spaghetti sauce, some soy or liquid aminos, some Worcestershire sauce, and some beef broth. So let's get it all into the Instant Pot, and let me show you how quickly this will happen. And I've turned the Instant Pot on to saute, and it says it's hot now. I'm going to go ahead and add in the hamburger meat. So let that start searing off and brown up. I'm going to go ahead and add in the peppers and the onion, and go ahead and let that start browning up with the meat. And the hamburger is nicely browned. I'm going to start adding in the other ingredients. The 1 can of corn, the can of spaghetti sauce, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, the brown sugar, the soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce, and the salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir this around real good. Make sure that all the hamburger meat is well stirred in. And now it's time to add in the macaroni noodles. Now the thing with the macaroni noodles is you add it to the very top. I'm going to go ahead and push it down a little bit, but not stir it. Do not stir it in. And then you put the beef broth on top. All right, now that's looking really good. The next thing is you are going to put this onto manual 4 minutes, and that's all it needs. In 4 minutes, you are going to have a big pot of American goulash. It is probably the best soup I've ever tasted. It is so good. So let me go ahead and get the lid on this, turn it on 4 minutes, and then I'll bring you back when everything gets done. And I've let it cook for 4 minutes and pressure release. And this is what it's looking like. It looks so good. I'm going to go ahead and stir it around a little bit. Get the noodles all mixed up in here. And then it'll be time to serve up, and that is looking really amazing. Let's get it in a bowl. And here you go, Instant Pot American Goulash. It is so good, and it's what's for supper tonight. And it's actually Thanksgiving, guys, and I'm going to be doing my chicken and dumplings, but I'm going to be doing them in the crock pot. So the first thing we're going to do, I have basically 8 cups of chicken bone broth that I'm going to be putting in the crock pot. And to this bone broth, I'm going to be adding some frozen chicken tenders, believe it or not. You could get a rotisserie chicken and you could just make some 8 cups of chicken broth, or buy the chicken broth in the containers. I went ahead and had the bone broth that I had made, so I'm going to go ahead and use it because it's extremely flavorful and so good. But I'm going to be putting in chicken tenders. I normally do about 3 chicken quarters is what I'm saying. So I'm just going to put quite a bit of chicken in this. 8 tenders. It's going to be really chickeny. And I've got it on low, which I'm going to turn on to high because I went ahead and put it on low to heat up the crock pot. Because that's one of the things that makes a big difference is if your crock pot's already heated. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on high and let this simmer for about 2 hours. And then I'll shred that up and we'll get to the next phase of chicken and dumplings in the crock pot. And after 2 hours, I went ahead and took all the chicken out and then shredded it up and then put it back into the crock pot. The chicken's been cooking on high in the crock pot for 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and open that up, give it a good stir. That's looking really good. Next thing I'm going to do is add the cream of chicken soup into the mix. And I'm going to give it a good stir. I have a second can of cream of chicken soup just in case. There's sometimes whenever I do one, sometimes I do 2. With this, I may need to do 2. I will find out once I get all the noodles into the pot. Now the next thing I'm going to do is make the biscuit dough. And I'm just going by my biscuit dough recipe, which is 2 cups of self-rising flour, and 1 stick of butter, which I have went ahead and pretty much melted. For these, you don't have to worry about layering them like we do for a regular biscuit. We're just making dumplings. So I'm going to put that in there. And 3/4 cup of milk. Now I'm going to go ahead and stir this together until all of it gets nice and combined. Now when the dough gets well combined, I'm going to go ahead and start making my balls, or my noodles. I make dough balls for mine. You don't need them to be big, you just need them to be semi-small. See that? That looks really big on camera. It's not, but that's about the size you need to try to make all of them similar. And you'll wind up with bigger ones and smaller ones. But I'm going to go through this whole bowl and make dumplings, and then I'll show you what I do next. And here's the bowl full of the dumplings. Now, in order to put them in your chicken mixture, you need to do one thing. Choose out the bigger dumplings, the ones that look like they're bigger and meatier, because they will plump up to about twice this size. Those are the first run of dumplings you're going to put in. I'm going to go ahead and get all the big ones, probably about half of what I've got here, but the biggest ones, and put them in for the first cooking, because you are going to add the second ones in after these get through cooking. That way you can see how much of the cream of chicken soup you need to put in, that kind of thing. And I do still have it on high. It doesn't boil like a normal one would. If you make it in a pot, it would probably go a lot quicker. But we're doing it in the crock pot, which is fine, because that way if you've got a lot going on your oven top, you don't have to have it. And watch them. They're already plumping up. They're looking so good. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with the bigger ones, and then reserve the smaller ones for the second cooking time. And I'm going to put the lid back on and probably let these cook for about an hour. It's still on high, but you'll see they will plump up and then start dissipating And that's whenever it makes the juice real thick and good. So let's get this cover on and let it cook for 1 more hour. And 1 hour later, this is what it looks like. And what you want to do is go like this, gently. And any of those pieces of dumplings that haven't completely dissolved will start dissolving, because we've got about an hour left. I'm going to go ahead and add in some of my chicken spice, which I need to make some more. I'm about out. I'll put the recipe down below, because this is what makes it really good. Now, mind you, my bone broth I've got in here is amazingly flavorful as it is. I basically do it overnight and let it cook in the crock pot overnight. And it is so good. Oh, see how thick it's starting to get? Like I said, I'm not going to add the second can of cream of chicken soup until we get through with the second batch of dumplings. So I've got about an hour of cooking left. So I want to go ahead and put that second batch in. And yes, I did put them in the fridge to keep them nice and cool until I added them in. Now I am going to go ahead and drop in and be very careful, because this is hot, those dumplings. They're not going to float as easy because they are cold. That'll take them just a little bit longer to cook up and start dissipating, because you do want dumplings in this whenever you serve it up. There we go. Now, as you see, they're starting to float. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on low, because I have 1 hour left, and let this cool down just a little bit as it's cooking, not much, and then we'll see how thick it is when I come back in an hour, if I need to add the second can of cream of chicken soup. And it's been another hour, and you can see how big this second batch has been, and I've had it on low. I don't think I'm going to put any more chicken cream of chicken soup in it. Look how thick it is. It is so thick. I think we're good. I think I'll put just a little bit more of my chicken spice in it, and we'll call it golden. This, I tell you, is the best chicken and dumplings. Just ask my granddaughter. She'll tell you the same. So funny. But this is ready to eat, guys. Whether you do it on the oven top or in the crock pot, this is what you call a really good meal. I tell you, those 4 recipes, you can't help but love them. And the chicken and dumplings, family favorite. I have to make them every Thanksgiving and every Christmas, so of course they're on our last 3 months of the year's favorite meal. They don't get made a whole lot, but whenever they do get made, they are well loved. And you can make that recipe in a pot on the oven as easy as you could make it in the crock pot. I've done it both ways. The crock pot just seems to be easier for me when you've got a lot of things going on the oven top and you need something else in the crock pot. So that's how I usually make it. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to press that little button down below and subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun and good food, because you know I love me some good food. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll really like this video right here also. Good food, and you know I love quick and easy recipes. They are my favorite. So until next time, see you then.